Hi knitters, welcome to episode 20. It's October 29th, 2015, and good morning to you. It's morning time here in kind of blustery, cold-ish Madison, Wisconsin, where I live. And I'm just looking outside. It's been really raining and gray and cold these last few days, so a lot of the leaves have fallen and our yard is completely filled. We have a lot of trees in our yard, so it's completely filled with leaves, and I think my husband's planning on raking this weekend. He does a lot of that work for us in our yard, so that's kind of his plan to clear that up. So let me explain what I'm wearing first of all today. I'm wearing, it's kind of lopsided because this side doesn't have the sleeve, to hold it down. But what I'm wearing is called the Antrorse sweater. It's by Shannon Cook, and she's at SewVeryShannon.com. She has a great website with a lot of knitting content and a lot of sewing content. She's a wonderful seamstress as well as knitter and knitwear designer. She does a lot of things with Jane Richmond, who's another really wonderful young knitwear designer, and they live in Vancouver. I believe both of them do. Both have kids, and they're fun to follow. So if you don't follow them, you should go ahead and follow them. But she did this pattern. She and Jane collaborated on a book that I believe is called Journey. And you can buy the single patterns as well. So what I'm wearing is I still have my needles on here, is the Antrorse cardigan, sweater. So how it works is you start up here. It will be much more balanced after I block it because the sleeve will pull down, and then I'll have these, the shoulders will become more even. You start up here at the top and you are knitting back and forth in garter stitch. I'm doing it in such a dark color that it's a lot hard to see the stitch definition so much, but this section is garter stitch. It's an open section right here. Then I did 3, you do increases along the garter stitch, which goes to about here. I did 3 1-hole buttonholes, and I'll be putting 3 like 1 1/4 inch or 1 1/8 inch buttons along here to hold that down. So that'll be fun. I've been working on picking out what buttons I'm going to use. Most of my buttons are around 1 inch, and I think I will need a little bit bigger button to make that fit. So of course you can always kind of sew up the ends of a buttonhole to make it a smaller button fit, but I'd like to have kind of bigger buttons there too, because I think it would be really a nice accent to the sweater. Then you join here to knit in the round, and then I'll kind of turn, I don't know if you can see, but there's a panel that runs along the front. So now you're knitting in the round, and you're still increasing out for the armholes down here that you'll start doing stockinette stitch here, and then following a very simple chart that you work on for this front section. And then it just has a garter stitch bottom panel. I shortened mine quite a bit. The one in the pattern is more of like a tunic length, and the model's this really tall, very thin, lanky woman wearing little leggings with her Antrorse sweater, and that's just not me. I don't have the figure for that, and I'm too old for that, I guess. I don't know. It's just not me, so I can't wear it like that. So I like to shorten it up a little bit so that it's not so long, and I shortened up the garter edging a little bit too, but maybe an inch or 3/4 inch or so. I shortened it a little bit because it was really quite long. Then you come back and pick up the sleeve. So this one's waiting for me. The stitches are on a piece of scrap yarn, and then you pick up and just do some really simple decreases down here. Now I've finished the decreases, so I tried it on, and I won't be wearing this kind of t-shirt underneath this like that. If anything, I might wear more of a sleeveless or a t-shirt underneath, but I wouldn't wear a long sleeve t-shirt under this because it's too bulky. But so anyway, I finished the decreases. I'll talk about some things in more detail later after I finish it and I block it for little tips and tricks that I had along the way, because I really haven't modified much, but I've changed a couple of quick things. And then I have to knit even, and I want to do about 2 inches of the garter. So I might do like 10 more rows of the stockinette, just knit even, knit every round even for about 10 rounds, and then I'll do the 2 inches. But what's great about top down is that you can try it on and you can see, because when you just measure, when your garment is flat, it's different than when you have it on, because of course I'm filling the sleeve out. So, this might measure one length when it's just flat, but then when I fill it out, it shortens up quite a bit because I'm pulling it widthwise. And so you get quite a different measurement on that. But that's one of the reasons I really love a top-down construction, because you can really try it on with a lot of, accuracy. Now, this wool is Quince & Co. Osprey. It's 100% American wool, and it's an Aran weight. I'm knitting it on US size 10, and these are the Carbons needles, which I like. And the dark yarn on the dark black needle is fine, because really the end is silver, so I can see my stitches just fine when I'm knitting them. So that's not really a concern. But what I know about the Quince & Co. wool is that it's so lovely in that it really relaxes after you block it. So I know this will really relax, and I'll be able to it does have, it has positive ease. And the sleeve, although it doesn't maybe look like it so much right now, what's on with the shirt underneath, it will also have nice positive ease. So, but I think I might even give it a good, this way, give it a good stretch, just to relax it even more while it's drying, and then I'll have a nice comfy sweater. I don't really like tight sweaters. I think I say that every time I knit one. I'm not into it. So anyway, that's what's on I'm wearing, what's on me today, and I'm really enjoying knitting this sweater very much. It's going really fast, lickety-split, but that's what, knitting a fairly simple sweater on a larger gauge is like. It goes really fast. Other things I've been knitting on, and I think I might have shown you partially finished in progress things, but things that I've finished now are these Arnie and Carlos socks. I did these toe up. I did a Turkish cast on. I increased out for the toe, knit the foot, and then I did, this is a traditional short row heel on this, and I think it's adorable. It fits great. I've tried them on. Knit up, and then I did the cuff, the heel, and the toe in not Quince & Co. Opal Solid Series, and this is just the white colorway, which I think looks really great. So those are done, and I'm quite happy with them. I did a Russian bind off on the top for a nice stretchy bind off. One thing about toe up socks is that you have to make sure you have that really loose bind off on the top there, and it tends to flare out a little bit. I think some flare out more than others. the Russian, but it's really cannot be helped. And they look fine when you're wearing them, of course, but the Russian bind-off flares a little bit, but not as much as some of the other ones that I've seen. I don't know. I might try sewn bind-off on the next one that I'm doing. So, which brings to mind, I don't know what to do with it. Oh, it fell. Just a minute, I'm going to grab it. Okay, so the next one I'm doing is a patchwork sock. And a long time ago, I did a patchwork sock for, so you can see that that flares out a little bit. It's not horrible, but it does, it's just the nature of it, because it's actually looser than the rib section, so it's just gonna flare just a little bit. It's not horrible. A long time ago, though, I did a patchwork sock knit along, and it got a huge response, and that was on my Ravelry group. We did that, the Itty Bitty Knits group, and we had, I can't remember how many pairs we had. Was it 100? I don't know. It was a lot of socks that were, it was just for fun. People were just knitting them for fun, so that was really fun. So I'm doing that same concept. This time around, I'm doing it with all of the Arnie and Carlos colorways that I've used. I forgot to say this is color number 3657. If you're interested, and I know places like Jimmy Bean's Wool and Webs at yarn.com is carrying those, and those are from a U.S. distributor if you want to support the U.S. distributor of Regia, so that would be helpful. I know Simply Socks had that too, so you could look there. I don't know if they still have it or not, but I'm guessing they probably do. Anyhow, so I have knit 4 pair of the Arnie and Carlos Regia socks. And so what I'm doing is I'm taking those 4 colorways. Sorry, I have a little tickle in my throat. And I'm combining them to make a patchwork sock. So I'll show you what I have done so far. So far I finished this one. I did this toe up again, and so I started down here with a Turkish cast on. I increased out, I knit the foot, and then I tried a different heel. It's again a short row heel, but I looked up a short row heel variation in the Sock Architecture book by Laura Neal. That's a really good book, very comprehensive with lots of options. I did modify her instructions a little bit, and I'll talk about that later. But so the first one I showed you had traditional wraps and turns. This one only has increases and decreases, and it gives, I think, a little bit of a nicer appearance, but I don't really mind the short row, the traditional wraps and turns either. I think that looks kind of cool to have those little marks where it's been wrapped and turned. This might be a little tighter. There aren't quite as many kind of little holes in it, but so that was fun. I did that, so you can look that up. And then, so I did that short row heel, and I knit up here. I did my regular 2x2 rib for 12 rounds, and then I again did the Russian bind off there. Paula Emmons Feasley has a really nice video tutorial. I think she's Paula EF on YouTube if you want to look her up, but she has a good Russian bind off tutorial YouTube video. So I did the toe in one color. Then I'm sorry, my daughter is texting me while and then she says very cold walking around on campus, and it's very windy, and which it is. It's freezing. The wind is very freezing. But then for the foot and the leg, I changed colors every 10 rounds. So I would knit 10 rounds. And then you never want to change colors on the bottom of the foot. So I always do it over here. I can kind of feel where I changed. on the side of the foot, it really won't bother you then because you're not stepping on it. So I would change every 10 rounds. All I do to change is I tie a half knot around the old color with the new color. I slip it right up to the needle, and I start knitting with the new color, leaving two ends to later weave in. If you are really sensitive to a little half knot in your sock, or you don't want any kind of a knot, I kind of like it in a sock because they have a lot of wear and tear, so I leave it in, but you could pick it out and knit it later, so don't pull it quite so tight, just kind of put it there, the knot. If you don't want it in there, don't pull it quite so tight, so you can pick it out easily later. And then I did the heel in one color too. I didn't change yarns during the heel. I figured there's enough going on there. And then again, I just changed it every 10 rounds. And I did the cuff in one color too, it looks like, so I extended that a little bit too. Let me show you the colors I'm using. I'm using the brown Arnie and Carlos. There's a brown and orange one. It has like, it's either like autumn night or fall night. I don't know the colors of all of these. This is the one that I just showed you, the other sock. It's 3657. This is the purple one. It's mainly purples. It's very clear. You can figure out, you know, just by looking that it's the one that's kind of all purples. And then this orange based one is one of the other ones I'm using. So I'm combining these four colorways for the patchwork sock. I'm carrying that in my patchwork project bag, which I think is kind of fun. That's from Renee of Lowland Originals. And you can find her on Etsy. She makes the most beautiful, I don't know what it is, but they're really sturdy and they sit open very nicely. And I think she does have patchwork ones regularly in her shop, which obviously they take a lot more work. And I'm always thrilled to find something a little bit different, but it has such a sturdy but not stiff feeling to it. So I don't know exactly what she does in there that's different, and I love her fabric choices are really unusual. They're very unusual. They're not like other project bags I've seen. I love her drawstrings. Sometimes she uses cord. This one happened to have some fabric ties, which are my favorite. So anyway, Renee, I love your bags. So there you go. There's that. And then I was going to just show you quickly that I started the second one. Now this one I did I'm thinking of Judy's. So many J names. Judy's Magic Cast On I did on this one. So I have the toe here going, and I'm feeling pretty pleased about my progress there. These are signature Needle Arts DPNs, US size 1. They're 2.25 millimeter, and they are 6 inches in length. And there is only one point tip selection or choice for the DPNs, and they're all the stiletto point, which are very, very pointy and sharp, which I enjoy very much. So I know some people have a hard time with that because it actually kind of pokes their fingers in with their knitting style. All right, so another sock, I showed this one before, so I'm just going to show you again really cute. Again, quickly, I'm working on this hand spun sock. This is my own hand spun yarn, and I've been making some good progress on that one. These are Knit Picks. I think they're 2.5 US ones. And I'm using some Opal Solid Series in black for the cuff and heel and toe, which you saw in the other one. But I've just been knitting on this. I kind of leave this just sitting out in my living room. And then when I'm talking to my family or hanging out in the living room, I just pick up my yarn bowl. I think it's so pretty. It sits on a little end table by the couch. And this is the aaharrison.com Maple Leaf yarn bowl, which is so beautiful. And here's the inside, has the little red maple leaf. So he does great work. And I'll put a link to that, or you can just look it up, A.A. Harrison. He's also on Instagram too, so he's a wonderful ceramics artist. While I'm on the topic of socks, let me just share another upcoming project. I have my needles poised and ready to go, and I love it that they match. I'm going to start working on this Gales Art Christmas sock blank. I want to say Christmas tree, which would make sense because it has all the ornaments on it. But I've talked about these again and again, and I've done a giveaway recently for her sock blank club, which sold out. So congratulations to Gail. She's deserved all that great attention and support. But anyway, this is the Christmas sock that I'm going to knit this year. Every year I try to do one holiday themed socks, and that's the one I'm going to do this year. And well, here I am back again. I'm now wearing my finished and blocked Antrorse sweater by Shannon Cook, and I love it. It fits great. I'm waiting for some buttons that I ordered last week, and I got news that they've shipped on Saturday, so they should be here soon. I ordered 3 1¼ inch buttons from Woolly Moss Roots on Etsy, and I think they're black walnut, if I'm remembering correctly, and I'm really anxious for those to come. I had debated about several different types of buttons, but none of them were exactly right, and they weren't quite large enough, so I thought I want to be really happy with them, because this sweater, it's nothing short of awesome. Look, I don't know, the lighting is, there we go, you can see it. It's really a navy blue, beautiful navy blue color. It fits just great, and I absolutely love it. So it's nice, and just see how that really released and relaxed. The sleeves fit great, they're not tight. The length is just perfect. It's beautiful. I love it. I would really recommend this sweater to anybody who'd want to knit it. So right now I have it just closed here. These are where the 3 buttons will go, and this is an open flap. So I have it closed here with a cute shawl pin that my friend Christy B gave me. It's really cute, and I love it. So a lot has happened since I podcasted last Thursday, or recorded, I should say. I didn't ever release it because I didn't finish recording. So here I am alone in my kitchen. My baker son is sleeping away. He had the night shift last night. So that's been interesting to have someone home and kind of sleeping during the day. But I finished, so I was talking about the sock blank from Gales Art, and I was going to start the Christmas tree sock blank and just knit some socks. Well, a long time ago, I podcasted about a Gales Art sock blank called Blue Love, and I actually started a sock blank shawl, which was just a little crescent shaped shawlette using the 100-gram sock blank from Gales Art, and I had never finished it. I kind of just set it aside. I think I posted about it or podcasted about it. So I just pulled that out, and that was last spring. So I pulled that out over the weekend, and I finished it. So it took a lot of knitting. I knitted really hard and long on it, and it's done. You could knit this little shawlette with a 100-gram sock skein, fingering weight skein of yarn. It does not have to be a sock blank. I knit mine straight from the sock blank, and I wanted to see if it would work, and it really did. It's blocking right over there in my living room right now, and it looks fantastic. So I can't wait to share that with you. I've been doing a lot of pattern writing. This week is mitten week for me. I'm finishing up that Waiting for Winter kids edition of the pattern. which I've been talking about for about a year. So things just kind of get in the way. I mean, I always think about that because I don't want to say I'm working on things and then not have them come out. But on the other hand, it's kind of fun to discuss projects that I'm working on and behind the scenes stuff, because that's a lot of what I do. Is I'm constantly working on new designs and things, and there is really an ebb and flow. Like I'll start something and then something else will come up with a deadline that I have to meet, so then I'll jump and start working on that, and then maybe while I'm working on that I have a new idea that I want to kind of flush out a little bit, and then maybe I'll come back to that first project I was knitting on. So there's a lot of ebb and flow, and a lot of times when I start something, there is a long period of time before it comes to fruition and there's a published pattern. So, I debate on not talking about that, but I really want things to be authentic and tell you about what I'm working on at the time. And, sometimes things work out and sometimes they don't as far as patterns are concerned. So, I appreciate people just kind of playing along with me and giving me that kind of creative freedom and space. So I love that. Now, that shawl, it should come out pretty quickly. The pattern's extremely simple. Once it's dry, I'll kind of share some photos. The one thing when I did knit with the straight from the sock blank on a bigger needle, I knit the shawl in a US size 6. There is some little variation on especially the stockinette stitch sections. There's some different stitch patterns in the shawlette, and I'll go into more of that later. But the stockinette stitch section does have some little stitch variation, meaning it's not the most even tension, but it looks really cool. So I love it. I'll tell you more about that later when it comes out. So anyway, over the weekend, I got the shawl back that I knit, a shawl back that I knit a long time ago for Quince & Co. for the Shawls, etc. 2014 collection that they have done, and that's a really great collection. You should check it out. I don't own the rights to this pattern, so I don't sell it in you can look it up. It's called Drawing Nye, and Nye is Nigh. But it's sold through Quince & Co. On Ravelry, and I'm assuming on their website too. So the rights to this one have never reverted back to me. But anyway, it's this beautiful shawlette. It's really a shawl. It's knit in fingering weight, holding 2 strands of finch together, Quince & Co. finch. It's a gorgeous little shawlette. It's a gradient, and I just took some of their gradient yarns, and but what you do is, so it's a semicircular shawl, is you hold 2 strands of the same color together and you knit for a bit, then you drop one of the strands, and you add in a new color in this kind of gradient fashion, and then you knit with the two different colors together for a while. Then you drop the old color and you add in the same new color, and you knit in that for a while, and you just repeat that, like dropping the old, knitting the 2 different colors together, knitting the same 2 colors together, and dropping and adding in, and you get this beautiful gradient. This yarn is just heavenly. I'm so excited to have it back. It's a half circle shawl. Check it out. It has an easy lace section added to it, alternating with some stockinette stitch. So, and it has kind of a light ruffle on the end. And the last section, of course, is just mainly this beautiful little lace pattern, which you can see here. But here, like, you can, I'm trying to think of where I can show you that it would show up really well. So it's like a heathered look here, and then it's the solid look, then it's a heathered look here because you're holding two strands together, two different colors. And then a solid here, just this one just has a little short heathered section and then moving right into the black. I also love the black on the edge. That always looks so good to me. So that's fun. I'm glad to have it back. It's here. I have the tag right from Quince from their trunk show. You can see all that information right there. It's a great little shawl. I'm proud of that one. It turned out really good. Then I have a couple patterns coming out very soon. The first one's going to be a kit for a while, an exclusive kit through Tangerine Designs. Casey of Tangerine Designs is creating a kit, like a winter holiday kit with some custom fabric for the bags. Tangerine Designs is mainly a bag. She does project bags and they're really cute, and I own several of them. I love them. When I was at SSK, I picked up this couple skeins of this Kineo from Highland Handmaids. She had her booth there at SSK, and so taken with this pale blue tonal worsted weight superwash yarn. It's so squishy and soft. It's a generous skein, 125 gram skein of 220 yards. I used about 114 grams for the hat. And it has a really long ribbed section. So if you didn't want to do this really long rib section, you can just use a 100 gram skein of worsted weight. But here's the pattern. It's called Fairy Tale Winter because this lace pattern is called Fairy Tale lace. And so I just called it Fairy Tale Winter, the hat. I adapted a chart from Melissa Leitman's Stitch Dictionary. Can't remember the name of it, but I'll link it, of course. And then the pom-pom's so big, I don't know if you can see, but it's a fully fashioned decrease section, that continues in a really nice pattern right up to the closing of the drawing the hole closed at the top. And it's adorable. And of course there was a little bit left over, and so you could of course do a little pom-pom like this that matches, but I ordered these, a big pom-pom from Bernat, and I ordered this right on Amazon. I think it was $10, right around $10. And I really like it because I've been seeing all these textured hats with these giant fur. This is faux fur, of course. It's not a fur pom-pom, but it's a faux fur made of acrylic and polyester. So, and I also ordered a dark one too, and that would be really pretty too. But I really wanted to give it kind of this light and airy feel. So I'll try it on for you so you can see what it looks like. It's cute. Can you see the pom-pom there? It's a cute hat. I just love it. So it can be worn many different ways. I love to wear a hat low over my ears because I live in Wisconsin. Also, a lace hat is sometimes not as warm. That's why I wanted to have this big chunky brim that would be doubled over because I'm always thinking about cold. The cold climate because that's where I live. This kit is going to be up for pre-order, I think starting November 7th, but I'll link more specific things about that. The kit comes with a project bag, 2 patterns. One is by a sock pattern by Melissa Sibley, and then the hat pattern from me. At the end of January, this pattern the rights will be released back to me, and I will put the pattern for Fairy Tale Winter in my Ravelry pattern shop. So there's that. Something to look forward to. Order your pom-pom. You get your stash. The whole point is it's called the Cold Sheep Kit because The whole point is using yarn from your stash. So I think everybody has, 100 grams or plus a little bit for of worsted weight for a fun hat knit. So that's why I used that. And then of course the other pattern is that sock pattern, which of course everybody has a skein of sock yarn in their stash. Now the other pattern that's coming out is my 123 chickadee shawl that I have been talking about for a little while. The inspiration for this came from going to knitting pipeline retreats and getting 4 skeins of chickadee in my in kind of the, I just want to call it a gift bag, but it's like a bag that you get, goodie bag, that's the name I'm looking for, goodie bag that you get when you go to a retreat. And I came up with this great shawl that uses 3 skeins of the Quince & Co. chickadee. I did one in a 2-color version here, and then I also did one in a solid, this is the Illusion colorway of the chickadee from Quince & Co. But it's a great simple shawl. I added tassels on both ends, and that will be coming out this week. So if you want to keep your eye out for that, if you have, it's like 543 yards of a sport weight yarn. It can be one color, it could be 3 different skeins, or it could be 2 skeins of one color and 1 skein of one color. So 1 color and then another color, so a 2-color shawl. You can do any combination you want. You could even stripe it if you wanted to. It would probably also work really nicely for fingering weight yarn. It might just end up a little bit smaller. Knit side to side, very, very simple and fun and perfect for retreat knitting too. I just want to kind of share these in person, kind of in person on video, and show you these great bobble hats that I knit. I did a blog post on all the modifications I made, and they just turned out so wonderfully. I'll put this one on too for you so you can see it. It's just a great little fun hat. I think they're just so cute and playful. I'm going to do a bunch more. This is knit out of the Quince & Co. Osprey. It's adorable. So I did that one. That's honey and blanking on this purple color, but I have all that listed in the blog post too, so I can link that for you. And here's the other one that I made. This one is really fun too. Anyway, love them. I think they're going to be cozy and warm. I think I'm going to knit some more for maybe some Christmas gifts this year. That will be really fun. Another thing I wanted to quickly talk about is this magazine. It's called Knit Today. It's a UK publication, and this is a great magazine. I have not super familiar with it, and I forgot that they had contacted me quite a while ago to do an interview, a quick interview. Knittoday.com. It's knit-today. So anyway, this magazine, Knit Today, they issue 118. They did an interview with me, yours truly, right here, and put some pictures. They asked me a few questions. It's just like kind of a little, sweet little blurb in there. So it's a cute magazine. So if you're not familiar with it, you should check it out. Excuse me. They have, there are a lot of cute and fun, playful patterns and information and sweaters, all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's just got a great variety in here, and I was touched that they thought of me. So thank you, Knit Today. That was fun. And then last but not least, I have a couple fun patterns that are free and that you might be interested in, that I've just kind of run across. This one might not be any surprise to any of you. It's called Seathwaite. It's a free pattern by Kate Gagnon Osborne for Fringe Association, for the hat along that Karen Templer of Fringe Association is doing, and I just love that cabled hat, and it's a worsted weight yarn. Kate, of course, owns the fiber company, is one of the owners of the fiber company, so she's used her own yarn called Cumbria, which it looks just beautiful, but you could really use any skein of yarn that you have. I'm not sure the weight of this yarn. So, not sure, but I think it might be lighter weight. Maybe it's a sport or a DK. I'm not really sure, but anyway, it's a 100-gram skein at 238 yards, so it's a lot of yardage. So it might be a lighter weight yarn, but anyway, you can look it up, but check it out. You can, I'm sure, find that on Ravelry. Seathwaite free hat. Now this hat has it looks like a turned under brim, like a hemmed brim, and she starts with a provisional cast on and a folded brim. I wouldn't do that. I would just do a regular brim. I don't like these. I don't like the hemmed things as much. Just my own personal preference. I really prefer, if I was going to do a hat like that, I would just knit a longer brim and then cuff it up, because then you have more control over the length of the hat, if that makes sense to you at all. And on sweaters and things, when it's hemmed, I just feel like it's a little bit bulkier. So it's not my preference. I think it looks pretty though. The other one is this Hue Loco. Oh, I'm blanking on her name. But it's this cute new podcast. Hue is H-U-E Loco. And it's this young woman, knitter, designer, mother. She has an Etsy shop called Hue Loco, and she just started a podcast. Now she's from Wisconsin, but now she's living in, I think it was either Denver or Boulder, Colorado. She's from Cambridge, which is a little city town right outside of Madison, and that's where Molly of A Homespun House is from too. So that's kind of fun. But she's doing a video podcast. They're short. They're about 20 minutes. She dyes yarn and makes projects bags, which a lot of people do at this point. But she's different because her husband's actually a filmmaker, and they are filming together tutorials, and she's producing these PDFs that go along with the tutorials. At this point, they're free. They are thumbs up wonderful. The first one she did is called How to Make Your Own Holiday Bag, but it doesn't have to be a holiday bag. It could be any fabric print that you want, and it goes it's a free pattern with she's got, you know, pieces that you can cut out, step-by-step instructions. This PDF is a free download. You just have to enter your email and then it is sent to you automatically. So definitely check that one out. She's got her second episode is just up on YouTube. That's where I watch it on YouTube. And that podcast talked about how she's going to do a yarn dyeing tutorial, which is really interesting. So if anybody's interested in dyeing yarn, she said she struggled to find any kind of online help or support for yarn dyeing. She found a few videos on YouTube, but nothing that was extremely helpful. So she's trying to do some things that are really helpful for people. I love that. I mean, it's a good twist to making yourself stand out a little bit differently than, you know, all the other Etsy shops, which are wonderful, and I love them so much. And everybody tries to find their kind of unique place, and I think she's on a really good path. So, oh, I wish I could remember her first name. She's adorable. She has 3 little boys. She's really cute, and she's one to watch. So check that out. I'm going to say goodbye. I have piecemealed this podcast together. I have no idea how long it's going to be in the end. But I have a lot coming up this week, so you'll be hearing from me again. So have a great week. Now it's Monday, November 2nd. I can't believe it. I hope you all had a great Halloween, and it's starting off to be a beautiful November. So Bye, knitters. Have a great week. Bye.